Hey, I hope you had a great weekend and spent some time outside. I'm hoping to go outside when I'm done doing this screencast. So today's a little bit long, I'm not gonna lie, but think about all the days you didn't have a screencast from me. So just have to deal with it. So get a snack and maybe your dog and snuggle up because I'm gonna talk to you about our project that we're gonna do for the rest of the school year. So it is a project that I haven't done before in this sense. I'm combining the HSB projects 2 through 5 into one big project that is similar to one that I used to do. So I'm going to show you some examples of that today and go through some expectations. And it's going to be a little bumpy at times because I'm kind of trying some new things, but it'll be fine. All right, so there will be a table of contents, and this slideshow is a work in progress, so just know that I'll be changing it. This is a link to the objectives that we're going to be doing in this unit and the resources. I'm not going to actually go through that right now. You can look at that on your own. This is an outline of the unit that I just put together today. It's based on like 3 or 4 different resources that I've used in the past. So it's kind of a rough draft and I might be changing it, but just so you have an idea for those of you who are planners, you can kind of see what we're doing throughout the rest of the year. So this week we're going to do an introduction to the campaign, which I'm doing right now. And I'm going to show you some examples in a little bit. Tomorrow or Wednesday, you're going to tour an ad agency on Nepris. So if you didn't sign up for that website yet, make sure you do that. It's nepris.com. And then you'll be exploring some marketing campaigns and trying to figure out who you want to create a marketing campaign for. So you're going to either create your own brand. So if you really love a product or you want to brand yourself or you want to brand something that your family is working on, that's totally fine. Or you can pick an existing company or a musician or a person to brand. And that's what you're going to be committed to for the rest of the term. Friday, you'll be doing a webinar about advertising during COVID. And that was one that I had my HSB Business Strategies class do a couple weeks ago, and it was so good. So it's recorded, but it's fantastic. Then we'll be moving into the brand. By May 1st, you need to choose who that company or brand is. Probably before then would be a good idea, but that's kind of your deadline for that. So starting the next week, we're going to look at terminology. We're going to look at each other's favorite brands based on what you did for your assignment last week. We'll talk about target marketing, positioning, branding, creating a brand, and creating a mood board. Then we'll start getting into advertising and design. Hoping to do a webinar this week with that same company that you'll be looking at on Friday as well. Then we'll be getting into the promotional mix and creating your own social media campaign based on your target audience. You'll have some work time as well for that, and then we'll talk about some terminology and social media marketing. We have a simulation called Stukent, which allows you to post and boost social media content, and it gives you the results of it. So we'll be working with that the week of May 12th. I haven't used it very much, so we'll see how that goes. And you'll have work time, like you'll just be working on this kind of constantly. Then I'll be introducing you to a press release. So before you release a campaign, normally you release a press release, which is something the media gets to understand what you're going to be doing for a traditional campaign. So I'll show you some examples of that. And then you'll finalize your campaign right before the last couple weeks of school. So your final projects will be due around May 26th. I'm not sure what our schedule is going to look like then. If we have that day off, then it might be the next day. And then we'll start doing presentations in small groups. They're going to take a little bit of time. So you and 1 or 2 others can be in a small group. If you don't pick a small group, I'll probably pick one for you, just so you know. And then we'll be doing your final projects presentations the last week of school as well. All right, so back to the slideshow. The examples I'm going to show you in a little bit are going to look different than the project that you're going to be doing, just a little bit different in the rubric, which I haven't finished yet. So use them as a guide, not your rubric. Enjoy this project, enjoy the research you're doing. Search the internet for clever, fun things. You're doing it anyway. I know you're on TikTok and stuff like that. I'm open to suggestions if you have a great idea that we should do. There's a typo. Make sure you let me know with those. I'm going to try something called Pear Deck. So when you get to this slide on your own, I will be able to see the answers to your question, but I'm not exactly sure how that's going to look. So I've tried it live on a session and they use it. They might be using it in your Nepris as well. No, they won't be using it in your Nepris. Sorry. Um, and if it's not working, that's fine. Just let me know. So when we are done with this screencast, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and write your responses to what sorts of problems exist that need a solution other than COVID, please, because we all know that needs a solution as well. So problems like, I don't know, your room isn't clean, or you really get hungry when you're eating or when you're driving, or um, I wish that billboard smelled like the coffee that is displayed on it. That's kind of my idea, scented billboards. So anyway, um, never really developed that one. That's okay. And here's some examples of problems that existed that students solved through their projects. So I'm going to just run through these. This is what's going to take a little bit of time, but you're going to love them, and then look at them on your own. So again, your project will look a little bit different than these. These are student projects from a few years ago. They'll have a little bit different rubric than what you have. And I've changed some of the requirements over the years. So Faith did this iCycle, and you will have like a product description for it. Then you'll define who your target audience is. You'll do a persona for your target audience, and create that persona with a description of who they are. You'll create a secondary audience in that persona as well. Then you'll create the logo. So Faith used the Apple logo because it was an Apple product, but then she customized it to her iCycle. You'll also be including in all of yours all the different renderings that you have. So once you create a design, if you change your mind, snap that one, take a snipping tool and snap a picture of it, and make sure that you include all those. So save everything in a doc, every rendering, so that we can see the progress that you've made. It's really important to see that. So these are some of her advertisements that she did for her campaign. What you'll be doing is creating advertisements, but then also justifying why you created them. This is her Twitter campaign. You'll be able to pick which type of media you're going to use for your campaign. This is her Instagram advertisement, and what I love about hers is the consistency. And actually, every really good campaign has a lot of consistency in it. You'll see similar things. YouTube idea. I think she actually created that video. You can take a look. Snapchat, and her press release. So that was kind of a cool project. This one is called Drone Active. And keep in mind, some of these are a few years ago before we actually used the technology. One of my students had AirPods in his, invented before we actually had AirPods. It was pretty cool. So this is a drone that you can operate with your wristband or your Fitbit. This product description is really long, but you can definitely do that. Here's some of her renderings, like her draft that she had. And this is her final logo that she created. So I love to see the progress. That's her slogan, her packaging, her target market. So this is where you can use more than 6x6 on the slides. Her secondary market. And then her print advertisements. So this is called copy. It's a lot of copy on it, so I would probably recommend that you have a little bit less than that. This is an advertisement as well, and you can kind of see they're all really, really consistent. And I'll let you take a look at these on your own time. Her social media campaigns. I think she has a link to her site that she would use. Just kind of run through these so you can take a look at the consistency in it. Her Facebook advertisements. I think she made this video, so take a look at that. She also used Pinterest. There we go, and a nice closing slide on that one. Okay, Clever Cleaner. This one was kind of fun. And I'll let you read the product descriptions on your own time. will show you a little bit of detail. Excuse me. And this is a cleaning tool that cleans your house, kind of like what we have now, those Zoom, what are they called? Roombas. Yeah, do you guys have a Roomba? I don't have a Roomba. So these are the justifications. So I'll probably have you be doing more of these than those first two. So justification, I want you to use a resource. So what I found is students who don't use resources just create what they think looks cool, and it's pretty amateur looking. So all the resources I provide to you, you're going to want to use to create your campaign. So here is her target audience, the persona for her target audience, her secondary audience, and the persona of them, justification as to why she picked what she did. And then here's her logo iterations, just looking at how she progressed and the color scheme. This is her print advertisement and her justification for her print. So I'll have you look at those. And then some of her social media campaigns that she had as well. She used Fakebook. You probably have used that for other classes. Justification as to why she did it. Some of her social media campaigns on Pinterest. Instagram, justification, Twitter. There's probably won't be quite this extensive. Her media release or press release as well. Okay, almost done. Couple more. I think this one's called Nalole. Candace Caston's put this together, and she's actually wanting to do this in real life, doing some design. She's super creative. So I love this design. So she has a description of her product, and it's basically an app where you can combine all of these sites to try to find the outfit that you want. And here's her target audience, her secondary audience with the persona included. And then her logo design and some iterations of that and her resource for that. Oopsie. Okay, so here are some of her Facebook advertisements, and what I love about her campaign, again, is the consistency that everything is really color coordinated. You can tell it's all the same app, the same company. Anytime you would see these posted among a lot of advertisements on Instagram or wherever you go, you could tell that it's branded to them. So I also notice little things. There's a font choice that's consistent throughout. She uses this pink box throughout. Uses the same kind of color scheme in all of the advertisements. Here's her Pinterest page. She spent a lot of time putting these together, so you'll have a lot of work time to put things together. Here's Twitter, and you'll be able to decide if you want to use that in her press release. Okay, one more. So this is a student a couple years ago, and he, out of nowhere, kind of took this project to a different level. So we actually recreated a rubric after this one because he really took it to a different level. So he rebranded a soccer team and added some other components to it. And I thought this was really, really fun. So he picked the color palette, and I don't know if it was based on what they already had or his own. So this is what you'll be doing in your mood board, which I don't have in these examples. And then talked about his target audience. I like his transitional slides, his primary market or target market and secondary market with the persona. New logo for them. So this is the new crest that he created for the soccer team and kept the chicken and obviously rebranded with the new color scheme. And he used just, I think, Canva to do this, but you can use whatever program you're most comfortable with. I'll be introducing you to Canva. So here's their old logo and their new logo. He has a description of why he did what he did in the logo. I thought that was really cool. And then his advertising campaign. Talked about his font that he used and gave a little example of that. And in his presentation, he justified why he used that font. Here are some of his inspirations for his ads. So you'll be doing those on your mood board, and then revisions, and then his final advertisement.